Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 43. It's election season.
It's wedding season, kid.
No, not wedding season, election season.
We got a whole new bag of issues.
So you guys know what that means, right? Between a debate the other night, race war is slowly starting to ratchet up again, a shooting in Georgia, celebrities starting to do all their rounds of endorsements, we can definitely feel the temperature being slowly raised up. So I'm going to do my best to keep us all sane, to keep everything positive.
5 letters here. RELAX. Relax.
Show you guys the light through the darkness, so that this way we don't fall into the insanity and divisiveness that the people in power are going to try so hard to create. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of those things. We're also going to be talking about Tyreek Hill's recent arrest and why I believe when it comes to something like this, there has to be accountability on all sides, and our society as a whole definitely lacks that in a lot of ways. Whether staged or not, this is definitely a lesson to be learned through there. So I'm going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some of musician Mike Posner's great posts, as well as his new song, Beautiful Day to Be Alive, which is super positive and it illustrates a lot of the great changes that he's actually made in his life in the past few years. So I definitely want to highlight that, as well as Marlon Wayans giving some great success advice and principles on Club Shay Shay podcast, which I know he himself has some odd stuff going on.
Yeah, right. Grizzly Adams had a beard.
But that doesn't take away from the cool life advice that Marlon Wayans gave on that podcast episode. So we have all that and more. Without further ado, let's dive into this rabbit hole now.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, must mean you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. All the links to purchase it are on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, help me out, support me. It'd be very much appreciated. The place where I'm going to start this episode is actually the Marlon Wayans Going On Club Shay Shay podcast last week or 2 weeks ago by the time this video comes out. Now, to start things off, you could clearly see how talented this guy is. I mean, when it comes to his voice impressions, when it comes to his acting skills, when it comes to his dance moves, etc., etc. This dude is super talented, and I'm actually a huge fan of some of his work, whether it was Wayans Bros, which is in my opinion, one of the funniest shows ever made.
Pops? Yeah. Yo, man, where you get these clothes? You look like the Grinch that stole hip-hop.
As well as White Chicks, which happens to be one of the funniest movies out there.
Squeeze me? Oh, no, you dick.
Well, your mother is so stupid, she exercises when she could just get liposuction or something.
Your mother's so old that her breast milk is powdered. You breastfeed like this.
And look, when it comes to any celebrity, when it comes to anyone who's in Hollywood, I'm always going to question whether or not this person sold their soul. So whether or not it makes sense for us to put our full trust in them. But having said that, as I said during last week's episode, even when it comes to famous people, and even when it comes to the darkest of the celebrities, there's still always something to be learned from them. Now, this isn't me telling you guys to adopt their lifestyles or to sell out. And once again, I hope that Marlon Wayans isn't one of the ones who sold out. But regardless of any of that, there's always something to be learned from everyone, I believe. And if you're not learning from everyone, you're going to be missing out on valuable advice, especially because on this podcast episode, Marlon Wayans gave incredible advice for success, for having a great work ethic, for having a strong family, and for having faith in God. So the first quote that he mentioned that really resonated with me was when he said, when opportunities don't come to you, it's up to you to actually make your own. Now, I've always been someone who, I don't like handouts, I don't like success being given to me. I want to take it. I want to work for it. And my thought process has always been, if these people don't want me, or if this coach doesn't give me what I deserved, if these people don't want me on their podcast, I'm going to go out and I'm going to create my own opportunities, because I know that God is always going to put me in the situations that are going to allow me to shine my best light, as long as I'm using my own free will to seize the opportunities when they come. And this is also something I love when it comes to having a social media platform. But of course, I don't always love the algorithms, because I think the algorithms are obviously rigged.
This is not real. It's just a dream.
And don't like certain types of content, and will promote certain people based on agendas given to them as part of their marching orders, which obviously isn't right. But beyond that, I love how having a social media platform makes me my own boss, and it's all on me. each part of the process, each job, creating content, working hard, working on myself every day is all part of the whole social media game. And I think that like when I do ultimately quote unquote make it, it's not going to be by accident. It's going to be because of all the work I put in. It's going to be because of all the times I didn't give up, even when I was frustrated.
It's not over until I win.
So you guys could clearly see from this interview that Marlon Wayans always believes in himself. He always had the utmost confidence in himself, but like he actually backed up with an incredibly strong work ethic, which is why he's been able to do this for so long and at such a high level. I mean, once again, even though I don't know this guy personally, you could see clearly and you could hear in his words why he made it so big. Now next up, I want to play one of the powerful clips that actually came from that episode, and we're going to talk about it in a second.
When did you realize that all those sneakers, all those clothing didn't really make Marlon Wayans happy? When did you have that epiphany? Where were you at when you sat down and was like, damn, I got all of these shoes. I got 1,500 pair. I got clothing, this, got this, whatever. I ain't happy with this ish.
I think when my parents died. When my parents died, it gave me a clarity of what what life really means. None of that stuff means anything. You can't take it with you. My mother collected everything. She has all the pictures. She can't take it with her. The only thing she could take with her is the smiles. That's all. The love. That's all. That stuff, it don't mean nothing. Who we trying to impress? That's not going to do nothing. You know what I'm trying to leave behind? Smiles. So that's why when I'm on a set and I'm doing comedy, yeah, I will do absolutely anything damn near. Light myself on fire for a laugh. Because when I'm gone, I'm leaving behind smiles. And every time somebody smile on something I did that was classic, that's why I don't make comedies. We try to make classics. 30 years later, you could watch a Wayans Brothers something, and you still gonna laugh like it's your first time seeing it, because we don't do jokes, we do classics. I want to leave behind, that is the legacy, smiles. I watch I Love Lucy, and I smile. I watch The Honeymooners, I smile. I watch, all these great artists, and Pryor, I watch his specials, and I smile, and I laugh, and they're living through that. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that's important to me, not stuff. To the point, Shannon, I got robbed. And it's funny, I realized I ain't got shit. There was nothing to take.
They broke in your house and got mad.
These niggas should have bought me something. Came over and gave me, here, at least take this bottle, man. I didn't have shit. They, you know what they took? My guns. That's all they took was my guns. The guns I would have shot them with.
Had you been home?
I've been home. Is the only thing they took, because I ain't got shit. I ain't got no watches. I ain't got no change. I ain't got shit. Everything in my house that's valuable is heavy. You could take the house, go for it. Put that on a flatbed truck, go for it. You won, my G, but I ain't got shit. But the only thing that's valuable to me is the smiles and the lives. And those are things I'm gonna die for. I don't care about the stuff. Take all them sneakers. I don't give a hair. I'll put them in boxes for you.
Right.
Leave them by front. Take them. Trying to get rid of all this bullshit because none of it means anything. I ain't got nothing. I got the valuable things. I got these smiles, I got these laughs, I got these jokes.
That is so well said, especially coming from someone who I'm sure has had all the success in the world, someone who could buy whatever things he wants. Above all that, it's always going to be more important the people who are in your lives, how you're impacting others, the smiles that like you're able to put on people's faces. I mean, for me, whenever I'm interacting with someone, the most powerful thing that I could do is make them believe in themselves, as well as to put a smile on their face.
I mean, me personally, I don't understand what you white boys all depressed about. Hey, you're white. Smile.
Just by me being in their presence. So, for anyone who knows me, you guys know that, I'm not a materialistic person at all. I live for the simple things in life. I live for the great workouts I could have. I live for making videos. I live for making awesome connections with people. I live for putting smiles on faces, as he just said. I live for giving love as well as feeling loved. I live for the simplest times with the best people, whether it be my best friends or my family. Those are the things that really matter at the end of the day. No one's going to remember what kind of car you drove, what kind of house you had, and of course, work your hardest to make a lot of money and work your hardest to be a huge success. But remember that you can't take any of those things with you. What you're going to be remembered for is how you treated others and the impact that you left on their lives. So, very powerful clip coming from Marlon Wayans. Next up, we have a point for the conspiracy theorists.
Another one.
What am I talking about here? Well, like, this is like diving deeper into the entertainment world as well as the NFL, sort of. We have an article coming out that spoke about a paper being leaked talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship, which all of us who were actually critical thinking could have seen this from a mile away, could have seen this all of last year, how this relationship didn't feel very real.
Nothing's real.
I mean, look, I don't think it matters a whole lot, but like, all the quote-unquote conspiracy theorists have been saying for a while now, like, the whole relationship felt staged. I mean, Travis Kelce went from dating one type of girl to a totally different type of girl, and then all of a sudden you see Taylor Swift on every NFL broadcast, every NFL game, everyone's talking about her, and something didn't feel totally right.
Something's not sitting right.
And on top of that, what else did all the conspiracy theorists say was gonna happen? Like, she was gonna be a plant that was gonna endorse the whole Democratic platform. And what ends up happening? What happened a few days ago? She endorses Kamala Harris. And we were all called crazy for even believing that, like, this person might not be totally authentic and genuine.
You're not crazy.
Now, don't get me wrong. Great musician. She does have some really good songs. Not gonna lie. I'm not calling myself a Swiftie in any way. But, like, does she have some good catchy songs? Of course. That's why, like, she was able, like, to make it so big. But now, why does this even matter? Because it's just more proof that, like, so much of our culture has been astroturfed, as Sam Tripoli often says. The CIA, Tavistock Institute, all these three-letter agencies are working so hard to promote agendas that take away our own spiritual energy, that get us, like, to worship these idols, spend all your money on them, spend all your currencies, spend all of your time and energy devoted to idolizing these people, as opposed to, like, actually working on yourself and believing in yourself. So, of course, as I always say, awareness is basically 90% of the battle. After that, of course, you guys can still enjoy her music. I mean, I also find it odd how she used to call her fans witches. Some dark energy going on there. But, like, as I'm always saying, it's possible to be in the world without being of the world. So, like, there's nothing wrong with enjoying her music. But, like, be careful when it comes to looking to these celebrities for life advice and for any of their materialistic worldviews. Because oftentimes, there's a powerful agenda behind them that's backing them, and a lot of times these celebrities don't actually believe what it is, like, they're spewing. They're being paid a lot of money to do so, and a lot of them sold out a long time ago. But, like, we can still listen to them, we can still learn from them. They're still, like, probably always going to be giving snippets of good advice, but just be careful when it comes to any of this political advice.
Pinko Kami Reg, the next condo board president of Del Boca Vista, Phase 3.
Or supporting any of their agendas. Next up, also in the world of football and the NFL, we have the whole Tyreek Hill story, where this past week he was arrested at a traffic stop after speeding. I think he was going 80 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour speed limit. He wasn't exactly compliant with the officers, and then the officers ended up using force on him. Now, looking at this more in the big picture, especially because the story has been covered everywhere, and it seems to be like they're using it for some type of agenda. And to be clear, when it comes to any of these big events that ends up going all over the news, I always question, and I think all of us should question, whether it's staged or, on the other hand, whether it's the case of never letting a good crisis go to waste, as a lot of these people in power do. So, like, I'm not sure which one, but you can definitely see, like, the temperatures being raised.
Too hot?
The race wars are starting to slowly amp up. I mean, keep in mind, Scottie Scheffler, the golfer, had a similar situation a few months ago, and, like, I don't think anyone brought up race when it came to that. But of course, the people in power are going to love to divide us, are going to love to put one side against the other, because divide and conquer. So, was this supposed to be the next George Floyd situation? Or on the other hand, is it prepping us for something to come soon? I'm not sure. But regardless of whether this was staged or whether it was 100% real, the point that I want to make here is that initially Tyreek Hill went into the whole victim mindset. He didn't take any accountability for his actions that may have contributed to the situation being escalated. I mean, no one forced him to go 80 miles per hour.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
No one forced him to not comply with the officers, which most of the time, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. As with any group of people, there's going to be good and bad. There's good police officers, there's bad police officers, there's good of this group, good of that group, bad of that group, etc., etc. But, like, to paint with a broad stroke over any group is never going to be a good thing, and most of the time, it actually just, like, lets the perpetrators off the hook. So I think this is actually a case of two wrongs don't make a right. Did the officer have to use excessive force? No, I don't think so. But could Tyreek Hill have done better with the situation himself? Yes, of course too. And as Tyreek Hill actually said the other day, he didn't act the way that like he should have.
I could have been better. I could have let down my window, in that instant. But the thing about me is, man, I don't want attention. I don't want to be like cameras out, phones on you, in that moment. But at the end of the day, I'm human. I gotta follow rules. I gotta, do what everyone else would do. Now, does that give them the right to literally beat the dog out of me? Absolutely not. I wish I could go back and do things a bit differently.
So he finally started taking some accountability, but that also doesn't give the officer the right to act the way that he did, which I fully agree with. But when it comes to the police, of course there are flaws. They're people just like us, and of course it also happens to be a very tough job. So it is important to call out the bad seeds too.
Why, he seems harmless.
Oh, he's not. He's very harmful. He's a bad seed. He's a horrible seed. He's one of the worst seeds I've ever seen.
But if you don't want a situation to escalate, comply with them, follow their orders, be kind, be respectful, and most of the time, most of them aren't going to escalate the situation further. And also, I'm also not getting rid of accountability on the part of the officers too, because, of course, the policing profession has some issues in and of itself too. And of course, a lot of this also comes from a higher agenda as well. But above all this, above any of that, I think a lot of our culture lacks accountability and loves to promote a whole victim mindset, because when you can just say, oh, I'm not successful because of this person, or this group of people is holding me down, what does that do to you? Does that actually help you get any further? Or on the other hand, is that just keeping you down and ensuring that you're never going to be successful? And if you're someone who's promoting a victimhood mentality, what does that do for the people who look up to you? It makes them think that they can never be anything either. So have accountability for your actions, be a victor, not a victim, rise above the challenges, and hold yourself responsible, and most of the time, you can overcome any challenging circumstances that are out there. We have to stop falling into this whole victimhood mentality, which ends up bleeding to divisiveness, ends up bleeding to hatred for that group or hatred for this group. Promote love, spread love, promote accountability, take personal responsibility over your actions, and you're going to be great. And that's the way to success above all. Next up, we have Mike Posner, who I may actually be doing a whole video talking about his success story and his comeback story, from how he used to be one of these classic entertainment industry musicians who's doing drugs, partying all the time, very materialistic, but he's actually changed his whole life around in the past few years, and he's become a really great role model from what I could see, and he promotes really great stuff on his social media. And he came out with a very powerful, very, very positive song the other day called It's a Beautiful Day to Be Alive. But I'm first gonna read you one of his posts, and then I'm gonna shift to a video we came out with the other day. So first off, first line of the post says, if you change your thoughts, your beliefs will eventually change too. Second post, if you change your beliefs, your actions will eventually change too. Third, if you change your actions, your habits will eventually change too. Fourth, if you change your habits, your life will eventually change too. Fifth, be careful what you think about, you'll get it whether you like it or not. That's all very powerful stuff. It's all about holding yourself accountable, taking control over the things that you do have control over, understanding the power of manifestation, the power of your thoughts, the power of your beliefs, and how you can change them at any point, and how you can change your actions, and everything ultimately feeds into each other. Your thoughts feed your actions feed your thoughts. It's all going to contribute to better habits. So start small.
Dreams can begin small. You just have to bet it all.
Take awareness over your life, take responsibility, realize where you're actually aligning your energy and what you're actually devoting your energy to, and make sure those things are actually aligned with your higher purpose and what your heart desires. Because any of those things could be pushing you in a positive direction or a negative direction. Be mindful though. And next up, I'm going to play a powerful Mike Posner video when he went on someone's podcast the other day.
My career dried up, man.
I took a pill in Ibiza.
I came out with a giant bang. My first single was this song, Cooler Than Me.
You think you're cooler than me?
I thought that's just what happens when I put out singles. They're all fucking huge. The second single was Please Don't Go.
Baby, please don't.
It sold millions of copies, but actually the experience was Please Don't Go as a failure because it wasn't as big as Cooler Than Me. It was a failure to the label, to everyone. After that was Bow Chicka Wow Wow.
Bow Chicka Wow.
Tales of Bow Chicka Wow, same story. Also a platinum song, Lil Wayne. Not as big as Please Don't Go. Like, I have platinum plaques on my wall of those songs, but they felt like failures at the time. My understanding is the record label was just sort of looking at the line going down. Now it's time for Mike Posner to make a new album. Now I'm working with Pharrell, J. Cole, 2 Chainz, and I work with Justin Bieber, Big Sean, and Benny. Like, you know, these all great people. They all cost a lot of money. Now it's time for me to put the album out, and the label's got like pay all these people probably $500,000. It didn't make sense for them. They weren't sure that if they spent all that money, the music would make that much money back. The decision was let Mike keep making music, but we'll just kind of like keep him over here and not release his music. There's one word for this in the music industry. It's called getting shelved. They put me on a shelf and left me. I had all these songs that were on this unreleasable album, but the songs were releasable if I didn't sing them. If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go.
So, going along those lines, Mike Posner actually said in another recent clip, like, when he's busy focused on the numbers, when he's busy focused on what society views as his success,
You know, we're living in a society.
he ends up unhappy because you end up chasing these things that, like, you have no control over. But, like, when you're focused on being of service to others, when you're focused on being in service to God, when you're focused on putting smiles on people's faces, treating others right, treating yourself right, giving yourself mental breaks when you need them, focusing on your inner peace and your inner spirituality, you can't lose that way. But if you're focused on materialism, if you're focused on numbers, those things are always going to end up leaving you dissatisfied in the end. Unsatisfied, unfulfilled. But if you put your focus into loving yourself, giving yourself what you need, putting good people around yourself, spending good quality time with them, helping others, giving love, it's impossible to lose that way. So, very powerful lesson. I'm sure I'm going to be sharing more of his clips in the future. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys found it inspiring, found it interesting, and I hope you guys are able to navigate the world of insanity and stay positive, not fall into any of these traps out there. Anyways, love you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.